In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that he appeared among us in the personage of Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi. I further bear witness that he raised the eternal leader of the nation of Islam and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the two of them left a divine reminder in our midst in the hard-working Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is in their names and their spirit that I greet my brothers and sisters in the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. How y'all feeling today? If you can give our brother and our sister a round of applause, Sister Heidi and Brother Rashad, for heating it up a little bit for what we gonna talk about today. Woe to the cheaters. It's good to see y'all. Y'all look good in the white and in the tan and the brown today. I see us. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started because we got a lot to cover today. It looks like we just had believers in here today, right? So we're going to have a meeting afterwards to discuss some things. And we're going to get out of here, all right? We're going to keep you all day. We're going to keep you for a good minute. All right. If you hadn't had a chance to get the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper, our brother was coming out the center page, correct the wrong. The occupier states nearly 2 years reign of genocide and displacement expanding in Gaza and the West Bank. Israel widens war with massive expulsion of Gazans from homeland. And y'all know they're trying to send them to Libya, trying to send them to Egypt. They're just trying to move them out of there. It's something to see what the heart of the beast is like. For real, what's going on. So we got to get our stuff together because we're looking at an enemy that really don't care. And will do it in front of anybody and will justify it in front of anybody and will come up with anything that they need to come up with to accomplish their goals and objectives, right? You know it's wrong, but on the flip side of that, we got to be the same way. We got to do whatever it takes to accomplish our goals and objectives. And no matter who's watching us, build up our self-esteem so we can keep pushing this mission that we have that's attached to Islam here in America, right? We don't have too much time to really be fiddling around. You understand? I got a few questions. Well, Master Farad Muhammad asked us a few questions while we just got believers here today. And those questions he asked, he said, what would be the daily average of accomplishments judging from weekly converts? He said, what do we mean when we say poison and rusty? What is the percentage of poison and rusty? And describe whom and with what profession are the most poisonous and rustiest. What means and methods shall be used to remove poison and rust from of said the worst ones? What do you think he means by saying of said? Because we say, oh, that's the worst one, that's the worst one. No, you said it's the worst ones, right? He's not saying it's the worst ones, but what means and methods are we using to get them here? Or to get rid of the poison and rust even in ourselves? Because all this is self-development, right? And when you go off the path of self-development, then you become a cheater of yourself or you become a hypocrite of yourself. Because it's all about yourself, right? And if you can buy a brand new car today, right? And by the end of the year, it can have rust on the bottom of it, depending on how you treat it, right? So just because you come in here and you have a good memory so you can recite, that doesn't mean you believe in what you're saying. The poison and rust will eventually start to show up. And those with the oil or with the balm should know how to apply that, because by what means and methods will you use to make them unsqueaky again? Like the Tin Man, right? Just something to think about. I want to lay that on our minds before they start coming in here. If you hadn't had a chance to pick up and reread this book, please read it. Please open it up. Who is that mystery God? I'm still trying to figure it out. Who is that mystery God? We all trying to figure it out. Look, you're like, not me. Oh yeah, you done caught yourself walking through the house saying, thank you, Jesus. Oh yeah, you done caught yourself. That's poison and rust. Look, you gotta be real to yourself, right? So revisit this book, Message to the Black Man, which is basically the entire teachings in one book, right? So let's look at this. Genesis 15, 13 through 15. Now, this is one of the major scriptures that we go over because that's how major it is. Because it's hard to believe, even though when you say you believe, that God appeared to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. We get up here and say this, but it can be a quotable. That don't mean we believe it, right? The whole part is, what do you believe? What do you internalize? And then when you internalize something, what do you give back to the world by what you internalize, right? So it says, and he said unto Abram, nor of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Now, this same scripture, we know what this scripture is talking about, right? But this same scripture is what the Israelis use, because they want you to believe that Moses and Pharaoh and captured them and Moses brought them out. They want you to believe that that is historically correct, even though there's no proof of it. So you see how they can take the black man and black woman's birthright and then use it and justify it, and then say, if you don't follow what we say or what we do, then you're going against the chosen people of God, right? And they believe in a mystery God, something that is unseen, right? When Abraham went and destroyed the idols, when Muhammad went and destroyed the idols, they asked the same question. Ask them who destroyed them. I left one here for you to talk to. Same scene, same question, right? Same thing, same question. So when they come at us and they say, well, you guys, you're a shirk, you're this, you're that. No, not really. Prove to me how we are. Because people say a lot of things, but they don't have the proof to back up what they say unless you challenge them, or unless you are not as strong as we should be in what we believe in, right? Because you don't have to answer the question, you just have to question it right, and then you'll get the right answer. Is that right? So let's look at this in Holy Quran, chapter 9, verse 73. It reads, O prophet, talking to you and I, strive hard against the disbelievers and the hypocrites, and be firm against them, and their abode is hell, and evil is the destination. What does he mean by strive hard against the disbelievers and hypocrites when he's talking to the reader? What does he mean? He's talking about yourself, right? Strive hard against the disbelief in yourself. Strive hard against the hypocrisy buried deep inside of you that you are hiding from others. That's what we have to deal with, because this is about self-development. Not so much as you coming in and you pointing out who this is because they're not doing what you think they should be. That ain't what it's about. It's about self-development, right? So when we say strive, who can define what the word strive means? Strive means to basically break out in sweat in trying. Try hard. That is what it really means. So if you look it up, it says try, to struggle, make great efforts to achieve or obtain something, right? So that means if you're trying to be the best at whatever you're trying to be the best at, you're going to be constantly being found practicing that, because you're striving to make that a reality. You understand? So if I want to be the best husband that I can be, then I got to be caught striving, trying to be the best husband I can be. If you want to be the best wife you got to be caught striving to do that, right? And there is no right and wrong way when you're talking about striving in relationships. The relationship is built on how you build it, not on what somebody else tells you how it should be. Don't let nobody else in your house, or you're going to have problems. Grandma taught me that. Or you're going to have problems. Don't tell nobody how your wife should be, but that's how you like her, but they want her to be something else. You're going to have problems. Y'all understand? We admire the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for how long he's been married, but you don't know the inner workings of his relationship. You have no idea how she really talks to him. You have no idea how that conversation actually goes. Only what he shares. But whatever they're doing, it's working. Is that right? Because they strive for this 63 plus years, right? Which is an uphill road. When you're trying to bridge two realities. Oh, I shorted him. There we go. Hey, give it up. That's a long time. don't know anybody else who's been married that long. I don't know anybody else that's been married that long. That's a beautiful thing, though. And that is a great example for us to follow. But again, to learn the inner workings, because what he had shared today, it was a struggle in the beginning. So they strove in the direction that they needed to be harmonious together for these 72 years that they've been together. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right, let's keep going. Let's look at this, because we really want to deal with the cheater in ourselves. I don't want you to look at this lecture as if it's pointing fingers or anything like this. This is dealing with ourselves, with myself, all right, with yourself and what it is. I don't know what your hypocrisy is. I don't know what your disbelief is. You know what it is. And that is all the importance, all right? The word hypocrite comes from the Greek word that means play actor, all right? A hypocrite is someone pretending to be something that he or she is not in order to receive recognition or gain. Hypocrisy is a result of pride. That's heavy, ain't it? Because pride comes before destruction, right? So hypocrisy comes before pride. Ooh, mathematics is Islam, right? Right. So only you know when you're starting to become prideful. Only you know your own shortcomings. So we don't really want to use the word hypocrite, or another word is cheater, or arch deceiver, or, all of these words that, we want to point out to the open enemy. But when it comes to ourselves, this is what we don't want to be caught up in, is the hypocrisy of self, when we know what we should be doing. We're all adults. We know at this point in life what we should be doing to make our life better. That's it. We're trying to live. We want to go out being a good person. That's it. You want to go out being a good person, right? That's the grand achievement in my eyes. When we say we want to be one with Allah and we want to reflect God, that's being a good person. Because God is all good, right? If he's not all good, then what we doing? You know what I'm saying? It just becomes routine, but we want to go out being good. So let's look at some of this, of what the messenger is saying. In Muhammad Speaks, April 30th, 1971. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, the messenger is taught by the Holy Quran to be hard against the disbelievers and the hypocrites. There is no such thing as helping a hypocrite to believe that which he has said that he believes. In the hypocrite's time, he said that he believed, and then he goes back and says that he disbelieves, right? So that breaks our trust. That breaks our trust. We can manipulate what he just said to whatever to conjure up in our mind to formulate to make somebody look like they're a hypocrite, right? Just like if we take a mental illness test, everybody in here could be labeled as crazy depending on what you answer on the test. And you may not be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I know it could happen. Right. So when he's saying that the hypocrite's time, he said that he believed, and then he goes back and says that he disbelieves, right? It's just like saying that you're going to do something and you don't do it, right? That's another way of phrasing it, right? Because you may walk away and be like, man, I ain't helping them do that. You're a hypocrite. Then why even tell them you're going to do it? Because now it's going to cause more stress on the person who's depending on you when you said you was going to do something, then you ain't going to do it. So now you're hindering the relationship. You're breaking the bond of trust. And that's all we have is trust, right? So in Mark 7:6, in the Bible, it says, he replied, meaning Jesus, Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you hypocrites, as it is written, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. That's deep because it has multiple meanings, but we're only going to stick to the hypocrisy of ourselves, right? Making your word bond, right? Why is that important? Because you should give your word, you should give your life before your word shall fail, right? That's all we have is our word. And if that breaks the trust, then what type of human being are you? You're untrustworthy. You don't deserve our respect. Whoever you lying to. You're losing all of these points that you built up with this person just by that one mistake that you may have did on purpose or on accident. It all depends on how you come back at it. But when Jesus shows up amongst the so-called Jews of that time, he finds a whole bunch of hypocrisy going on. He didn't come in with a new teaching. He resurrected what they had. That's it. A lot of us talk about, well, we waiting on the new teaching. Don't need no new teaching. You need to master what we have. How is the new teaching going to help you if the old teaching ain't helped you? You're going to be really in left field if a new teaching does arrive. And you depending on a new teaching to do what? Explain what the minister has been trying to explain for so many years, for decades. You see what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna go off a little bit, but I was in Chicago one time when the minister came out to speak, and he said something about this subject, about the new teaching. And he said the new teaching is buried in the old teaching. And I'm gonna leave it right there. So just get into what we have. And we have a lot to study. We have a lot to master so we can master self, right? So we don't want to be, as Jesus says, it is right, you hypocrites, as it is written, right? So that means that when he first showed up, he didn't know that the problem was as deep as he thought it was, right? For him to even say that quote means he done witnessed some things that he didn't think that he would be witnessing. He may have thought, I can just come in and say this and they're gonna back me up. But now they're trying to kill him. They're trying to get him out the way. They're trying to move him to the side because there's all type of agendas going on that he was unaware of at the time. Just read that and you'll see. Isaiah was right. Let's look at it. We go on to Matthew 23:23. It says, woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, which means what? A play actor, right? For you tithe mint and deal in coming and have neglected the weightier provisions of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. But these are the things you should have done without neglecting the others. So what is he saying? They don't have any heart for this, no compassion for the disbeliever or the one who they're trying to save, right? The weightier provisions of the law. He said, you have neglected the weightier provisions, which is justice, mercy, and faithfulness. That's a lot. Because sometimes people do things wrong out of ignorance, right? And if you're in a position of authority, you may come down on them because you ain't came down on nobody in a while, right? This is that pious attitude, right? You have no compassion or even an educational thought to be like, oh man, let me teach you then. Let me show you. Maybe you're seeing it like this. When this happened to me, this is what I did. You don't have any type of examples to help them out, right? This is where the compassion comes in to the fellow man, fellow woman, right? Because leadership is not about condemning people and moving people to the side and getting people to do what you want to do, with them to do. Leadership is more about example based, right? What you see us doing, what we're trying to get over to you. You understand? If I'm asking you to, are you making your 5 prayers? Then you got to see me making mine. That would be the best example, because then you can ask questions. Do you have questions over how you make the salat? Do you have questions over this? Do you know which prayers are you saying silent, which ones you're saying out loud, or which ones you're saying to yourself? This is Islam, right? So there are basic, like he said, rules and regulations or provisions, as he says, of the law, but there are certain provisions within Islam that you have to know to be a Muslim. And prayer is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which is the root of our faith, these 5 pillars. Not if you believe X, Y, and Z, or you believe X, Y, and Z, because they may not have the understanding to believe how you say you believe at the time, right? But even if you can't explain how you believe, you don't believe. That makes sense? Because if you can't explain that God is a man, then how do you believe that God is a man? Because that's going to be the next question of the one who you trying to get to believe. Even though they may not say it, they're going to be like, then why you believe anything? If you can't even explain to me that he came, you saying he came. I hear you saying he came. I hear you saying he traveled 9,000 miles. How did he travel? When they ask you that question, do you know? Did he fly? Did he disappear? How did he come in and out? That shit. What was the transportation of the day? You know what I'm saying? He had a Model T Ford. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the believers got together and bought him the car. I mean, you gotta know the history. You understand? So it can be more believable and not so spooky. All right, because this is how the church gets you. When I can't explain it, then it goes up in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna hold my hands up. You know what I'm saying? But in this day and time, with all of this going on, we got to be right and exact. We got to be able to show our people the reality of God, the reality of why we think the way we think, and then what is the goal and objective of what we're really trying to get to. Because it ain't just coming here on Sunday trying to energize you. There's some more work we got to do. A whole lot more work we got to do. It means we got to get better organized in order to do it. All right? So, whoa to the cheaters who cheat themselves, right? And actually that comes out of, I didn't make this up, comes out of Surah 83, 36 ayats. Go read it. All right? Surah 83, woe to the cheaters. That's how it starts out. Okay, let's see what Prophet Muhammad says. Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, says, 3 signs were found in anyone. When found in anyone is a hypocrite, even though he fasts and offers prayers and thinks that he is a Muslim. What is Prophet Muhammad looking at? Now, he established Islam for the Arabs. You understand? In that part of the world. It doesn't mean that's when Islam started. He established Islam in that part of the world for them, right? He dealt with the Quraysh. He dealt with the different tribes. He dealt with the idol worshippers. They ran him out of Mecca into Medina. Now, at a certain point, he's saying, hold up. Even though you fast and even though you pray and you think that you're a Muslim, you could still be a hypocrite. That's deep, right? He says, when he is trusted, he is dishonest. That's what we were just talking about, right? If anybody, now this ain't, no, hold on. This is not exclusive to Muslims. Let me make that real clear. This is people, all right? But sometimes when you got a title, you think that you're better than somebody else, all right? So this ain't exclusive to us or Christians or Jews or whatever, all right? When he is trusted, he is dishonest. When he talks, he lies. And when he makes a promise, he breaks it. Now, how can you trust somebody like that? You can't. You can't rely on them. You can't call them because you don't know what's going on. You be like, and everybody knows somebody like this. Everybody knows somebody like this. And you don't tell them anything, do you? Especially about your own personal life. Yeah, it'd be on Facebook. For real. So these are the things that he saw while trying to establish Islam in the East. He saw these things: dishonesty, distrust, promise breakers, liars of the tongue, all of this. So if you can't trust somebody, then that means that they are play acting. And that word is hypocrisy. All right. So we got to check these things in ourselves, because we all can fall victim to this, because we've been doing this thing for a long time. It started when we was little kids. When we was real little, we started being little hypocrites walking around here lying to folks and telling them stuff. It started real young. So it's in us. It's just buried a little bit. Inshallah. Inshallah. All right, let's look at some more scriptures that deal with this. If you want to take pictures, that's fine. So you can go back and study it. 47:25 says, surely as for those who return on their backs after that guidance has become manifested to them, the shaitan has made it a light matter to them, and he gives them respite, right? So the guidance in our day and time is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right? There are those who listen and they go back on that guidance, right? And then the shaitan, again, remember, we're talking about, for those who have just traveled in here with us, we're talking about self when we're talking about hypocrisy. When we're talking about cheating, we're talking about you cheating yourself, all right? We're not talking about nobody outside of yourself. Even this Satan that we're talking about is the Satan of yourself, all right? When your mama tell you to do something, you said, I ain't doing it, that's the devil. Because she ain't asked you to do something that's over and beyond what you can't do. It could be something simple as wash the dishes. And that'll set you off. Shaitan will come out. Look. It can be something as simple as asking your husband to take the trash out. And he get attitude with you. Look. It could be that simple. So we talking about the guidance and that manifests in them. 47 and 26. Oh, yeah, this goes all the way down. I'm sorry. That is because they say to those who hate what Allah has revealed, we will obey you in some of the affairs. Doesn't that sound familiar? And Allah knows their secrets. Who is this Allah that knows your secrets? You! Stop thinking so spooky. You are the God and the devil. Those of us who used to look at old school cartoons, Acme and all that stuff, right? They have the angel and they have the devil on both sides, right? That is your consciousness. There's nobody outside of that. Get out of this spookism. It's you. All right? So put the responsibility on what it is again. All right? Brother Stone, will you wash the dishes tonight? Man, I ain't washing no dishes tonight. I've been working all day. That's the devil. Straight up. So say, get thee behind me, Satan. If you're going to play these games, you start calling them the devil then, sis. But that's what I'm talking about, though. It's just these little minor disagreements that really don't mean nothing. But it'll bring out that Satan in you because there's something in you got to get out. Nobody's asking you to do nothing that's so over and beyond that you can't do. All right. But how will it be when the angels cause them to die, smiting their backs? That is because, see, Allah always got something for you. They follow what is displeasing to Allah and are adverse to his pleasure. Therefore, he has made null their deeds. See, some of us are do wrong, right? And in our hearts, we do wrong. So we try to cover it up where we may go feed the homeless or we may take another child in and out, but you're still evil right here. And that's where your deeds are nulled because you can't cover up your mischief making with deeds when your heart is bad, right? Because the devil in you and God in you is going to show it. All right. Or do those in whose hearts is a disease think that Allah will not bring forth their spite? What grandma used to say, whatever's done in the dark gonna come to the light, baby. So I used to just listen to her and be like, well, she crazy, man. For real. She had me on her lap telling me all this stuff, whispering this stuff in my ear, man. I'd be like, man, what is wrong with her? And here I am quoting years later. Never know. Yeah, because I understand now. But I remember those days. She put herself in me. And if we please, we would have made you, Muhammad, know them, the hypocrites, so that you would certainly have recognized them by their marks. And most certainly, you can recognize them by the intent of their speech. And Allah knows your deeds. It's all in here. That is a good verse to study. 25 through 30. Chapter 47. Go read that again, and you may see something different. Just like when you read the Quran, you see something different. But it's all about what we can control internally and not what some external force makes us do. All right? The external force is like, you know how they say oil and water don't mix, right? So when you pour oil in water, you see the impurities go up in the oil as it separates from it, right? Those of us who use olive oil, avocado oil, and cooking and all that, y'all know that, right? So you see the impurities, right? It's the same thing. Sometimes something has to come in to bring out what's already in us. And 9 times out of 10, it's just that hypocrisy. And there's levels to it. It don't mean that you gotta, break down and start having the nervous breakdown, the mental breakdown. Oh, I'm a hypocrite. Oh. No, man. I mean, just keep striving. Because that's what it's all about, right? Atone with yourself. Recognize the wrong and do right. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad goes on in the same article. He says, the hypocrite is a great deceiver of who? Himself. You're not fooling those who looking. You're not looking the righteous, and they may see nothing, they ain't gonna say nothing. They just like, oh, okay. And keep moving, because that's best for you. Because you don't want to get caught up in gossip and slander. All right? You may slide up on them another day and be like, bruh, man, I saw you doing this, man, when I used to do that, man. I used to, Bring them to the right side. It's just how you do it. Right? That's why I gave you the questions. What means and methods will you use on the most poisonous and rusty? That don't mean that they don't wear this. They do wear this. And they're still poison and rusty. All right? But what means and methods are we going to use as a community to make that better without hurting somebody's feelings? All right? So you only deceive yourself. In trying to deceive others, he deceives himself. Today at this writing, many of my followers are going back, showing what they really were in the beginning, right? So now Allah is making them manifest before the rising of the true believers and the true followers, clearing the deck for others who are better than the first ones. Now, how confident is he in Allah? That's what this shows. He don't care if you help or not. Allah gonna send me some good ones. You know? That's hard on the disbelievers and easy on the believers. He's gonna send me some good ones, right? But let's go to this first paragraph. Ourselves. Once we work on ourselves, everything else doesn't even matter. It becomes so minute. Like he said, he'll have us so smart that the enemy will be like a string on our pinky. That means we're not worried about nobody else but ourselves and what we got going on, right? Like I said in the Malcolm X movie, oh, you Muslims just care about yourself. Yup, we sure do. We supposed to. We supposed to. And we believe you a Muslim regardless of what you say you are anyway. Quote that part of it. You know what I'm saying? But they want to separate it and try to get us to do something that they want us to do. But going back to this, worrying about the hypocrisy of self makes you a better person. It makes you more cognizant of what you do, more aware of what you do and what you say, right? Because you're trying to check yourself because you know yourself better than anybody else. Is that right? You don't know me better than me. That's just how it works. You don't know what I struggle with. You understand? But I do. But we strive as individuals to work that out so we can be a better person to all of us. That makes sense? Okay. All right. Let's look at this again. Now, remember, when you see the word hypocrite, that don't mean that that's the enemy. That's you. That's us. A play actor. All right. We play acting. Some of us. The hypocrites are happy looking in their imposed, darkened minds. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, against the truth and their own salvation, and against those who believe in the truth and in God of the truth. They think that they have an advantage. They are foolish. Something very evil awaits them. A day awaits them when they will be thrown upon their faces in prostration at the very feet of God and his apostle. Now he's giving them the vision of the end. But we're not talking about no spook God. We're talking about something real, right? But he talks about how they are happy looking in their imposed darkness. Now, those who are play acting, they come in here, they say they believe, they say they do this, but then they're not striving to perfect themselves. So they are play acting to themselves, not to you and I, who are trying to do it ourselves and not even, those who are on the right path, but to them. They think that they're fooling everybody else. But y'all see them, don't you? Don't y'all see them? I see them. I see us. We got to see us, right? The play actors. Because the play actors have a different result than those who are really in the game. You understand? They have a different type of stress level than the stress we dealing with. Our stress level ain't as high as their stress level is, but we all dealing with stress and anxiety, right? Dealing with the unknown. That's what causes anxiety, right? So these play actors, I won't use the term, we use the definition. These play actors, he says, they look happy in their imposed, darkened mind. I think I did a lecture one time when I showed how when the brain is lit up with knowledge, how it looks versus a dead brain or a person who really doesn't, it's dark. So the terms that he's using is correct because a person who is alive, who isn't on any type of drugs, any type of mind altering things, you see the electricity in the MRI. You see it clicking, all right? But somebody coming in always looking to get over, they have a darkened mind, all right? Some people are coming here and try to use us, take our kindness for weakness, and use us and abuse us and think we don't know. Look, for real. Yeah. And he says, they're going against the truth and their own salvation. Now, what are we saving them from? From what's coming to America, right? We're supposed to be doing something for ourselves. We're supposed to be working together harmoniously so we can build something for ourselves, so we can survive this thing, right? Whether it's food, whether it's shelter, whether it's excavation, whether it's whatever, what we got to do to survive what's coming to Dallas that we see coming. Because what we see going on over there will soon be here, right? We see how they use drones over there, so they're going to be using drones over here, right? They're already doing it, right? Whether they're using it to drop off your Amazon order or whatever, right? It's just a front. So they taking pictures of you. They're doing everything. They know your address. All this stuff is being done by phones and electronics now, right? Your own salvation, right? That's how it is. So we got to be keen on this. Now, woe to the play actors. Allah says in his Holy Quran, chapter 2, he says, matter of fact, while we there, can I go off script a little bit? Let me take you to this, because I was talking about this with a brother. When he said chapter 2, it just kind of got me where I needed to be. When you go in the Holy Quran in chapter 2, I want to read this to you. This is verse 44, since we're talking about play actors. All right? This is one of my favorites. I was sharing it with a brother because it kept me kind of balanced when I started seeing play acting going on, right? And I used to love being in plays when I was in middle school, so I know when you're acting. It says, do you enjoin men to be good and neglect your own soul while you read the book? Have you then no sense? This is what Allah says in verse 44 of chapter 2, right? Now, in the footnotes, this is what it says. It says, the leaders enjoin their followers to be good because they could not remain leaders otherwise. They play acting. But their own lives were corrupt, their heart. They read the book and yet they did not follow it. How could the ignorant masses benefit from their teaching or from their preaching? Because that's the result. That's the result. If you so good and you so this, where's the result? You see what I'm saying? You can't benefit from them because they're not going to do the right things. They really don't care about the people. Woe to the cheaters. So when he said chapter 2, I can only imagine he read that chapter, but I don't know. That ayat. But chapter 2 deals with a lot of hypocrisy. He says, so that he says in Holy Quran chapter 2, he says that when we turn back, we appoint a devil for us as a companion. Again, that's your own consciousness, right? Your own consciousness. When you do somebody wrong, you feel guilty about it for a certain amount of time. Now, you keep doing it over and over, you don't feel guilty about nothing. You're just a straight up devil. But while you still got a soul and you feel conscious, that's when you got a chance to save yourself, right? Before you go all the way out. Or as the young folks say, before you crash out, right? He says, this is to show that he is self-independent and that he does not have need for us unless we accept him after he offers to us his service to help us. The devil will lead the play actor and conduct him to the burning fire that was made for the devil. The play actor is not only hated by Allah, but he is hated by all believers. No Muslim loves one who turns back from among them. All of the love that they once had for the person leaves at once. Now, why you think that is? Because they playing with us, right? They play acting. They playing like they with us. They playing like they know because they got a good memory to recite. They playing like they gonna do this. They playing like they gonna do that. So why should you love them? Why should you feel obligated to help them? You shouldn't. Why you get so quiet on me? But that's what he's talking about. So once you turn your back on a believer, then you're appointed a devil, which is all in your head, right? So the best thing is to try to do right by one another at all times. If you can't do it, say you can't do it. Don't say you can do it and don't do it. That makes you a play actor, all right? And we trying to say woe to the cheaters, trying to warn them. The woe is the warning, right? Let's keep going. Because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a whole lot to say about these play actors. All right, he said, that's good, sis. Yeah, you gotta show them up. You gotta shine, give them some light sometime. You know what I'm saying? Again, the hypocrite is the play actor is so evil minded. Again, it's all in our mind, right? That he is not satisfied in leaving us alone. He wants to make someone or take someone with him. So he lays around the Muslims and spreads his poison disbelief on the messenger and his message, and disbelief in Almighty God Allah, salvation for the whole black nation in America. They do this so that it will look as though the messenger is the one who is not right, and therefore the play actor should not be followed, or you should not follow him, right? That's the crazy thing about it. You don't believe, but then you stay around. So you try to conjure your own followers. For what? Just to sit at home. Because what's the objective? Don't come to the mosque. Don't go to the church. Don't go to the whatever group you part of. Don't go to the meeting. That's the objective of the play actors. It's to get you not to go to the meeting. What satisfaction do they get out of it? That they making it hard on the messenger. That's it. That's it. They don't have a plan. They don't have an objective like that where we're going to start building with all these play actors over here and we're going to do this over here. No, it's not going to work like that. It never works like that. They only last for so long. For real. I done seen a lot of them come and go. In Kansas City, we had those who were called the Nation of Islam something. They had gas stations. They had, you would think that they on the block, they was looking like this. They had the look. But where they at today? They not here. You had different groups in Dallas when I first came down here, of those splinter groups. You know what I'm saying? Where they at? They not here. See, they only last for so long. You got those within the group trying to start their own group in the group. They only gonna last for so long. The thing is, you gotta have the confidence to know that. I ain't worried about them. And you shouldn't worry about them because they only gonna last for so long. And then when the hypocrisy or the play acting is showed up, then all those who followed them and believed in them, they in the valley of decision. Because they thought that person or that group or those individuals were on the right path with the messenger of Allah. Woe to the cheaters. Woe to the cheaters, right? Right, so we got to be mindful. Okay. Y'all all right? Oh, okay, I'm almost there, y'all. We're going to get out of here early today. I told you, hey, that's why I got it started early. Those who came late, you got to start getting here on time. Because we're going to end early on y'all. You're going to walk through the door, we're going to be done. Oh, it's going to be a benefit of getting here on time. Already. As they say in Texas and Dallas, already. Right? All right, so the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, one play actor among the Muslims is worse than 100 disbelievers. Now, what does that mean? Because the play actor, he always looking good. But they spreading this venom around everywhere. You got to catch them. The snake is always in the grass when the grass is tall. You just don't see it. You'll hear it though. If you hear good, you hear him trying to get up out of there when they hear your footsteps, right? Like God walking in the garden. So he says one of them is worse than 100 disbelievers who have never sought to come among the believers. The Bible teaches us that even the prophets lost their wives in the judgment of the people of Noah and the people of Lot. When the showdown came, they found that their wives were play actors. Now that's something. That's somebody you love, you admire, but you know. Don't act like you don't know. You don't act like you don't know. You hoping and wishing and praying. But you already know. You with that person every day. You know if they with this, if they not with this. So don't play yourself. That don't mean I'm telling you to go divorce them either. I ain't telling you to do that either. You let Allah do that. Because even the prophets and messengers went down to the last second with them. You know what I'm saying? And he let God do it because there's always a chance. Always a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? You say you with them for better than worse, then you with them for better than worse. They may not believe like you. Some of us who come here, your better half is at the church today because that's what they believe. Even though you be trying. But that's what they believe. You see what I'm saying? But it's something else that brought y'all together to where you got married. And so stick on that. And then, and just debate the rest. All right, y'all with me? Okay. I'm going to start landing this plane here in a second, family. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, how many people have been destroyed on account of such a trick? It's really amusing to Satan when he can tell a lie and we operate on that lie and act in a manner that we would never act if we had only known the truth. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Now, this isn't just exclusive to us, all right? But in the history of the Muslims, and we talking about the history of the Muslims, all right? Anytime the enemy wanted to disturb the Muslims, he would act like a Muslim. Y'all hear me? Anytime the enemy wants to disturb the Muslims, he comes among us and he acts like a Muslim. He's a hypocrite off tops. And he starts spreading, he's trying to get his way up to this office, to the student minister's office, right? Then he gets to the student minister's office and then he's on his way up, he's spewing venom. He's looking for the dissatisfied ones. His brother Tyrone used to teach an FOI class, talking about they sifting us. That's what they do. They look for the dissatisfied ones. The next thing you know, they hanging with each other. The next thing you know, they going out to eat with each other. The next thing you know, they don't care about the captain no more. Next thing you know, they're not answering the lieutenant's calls no more. You know what I'm saying? You can't make nobody do nothing. But what you can do is you can be observant and cognizant and be intelligent on how you move. That is what you can control, right? So the minister says in a manner that they would never have acted in if they only knew the truth, right? They are entertained by playing tricks on unsuspecting, ignorant people. And this is why it is imperative that the synagogue of Satan must be called out. And Satan and his synagogue must be made known, right? In the mosque and outside the mosque. In the church, outside the church. In the synagogue and outside the synagogue. In your group of friends and outside your group of friends. Y'all follow me? There's always a play actor among us. And what is their job? To dismantle the unity. That's it. Because when you're not unified, then you're easily led in the wrong direction. And I can come in and say, now you become my believer. You understand what I'm saying? Not the believer of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad, and all the other teaching that we get. You're not a believer in that. You're a believer in someone who said that they believe, and now they done told you something, you done peeped out something, and they exacerbate what you done peeped out, and now you become their follower to break up the unity. Now you're not doing your part in what we need you to do your part in. You understand? That's how people lose championships. Somebody missed the block. Somebody don't move the right way. You're not a championship team. If I can walk up to the line and talk trash to you and the lineman is so focused on me, he don't even block for the quarterback no more. You see what I'm saying? It's that simple. When you play sports, people try to get in your head anyway. They talk to you on, dude, you garbage, bro. They got you on me? What? Oh, it's an easy day today. What? I told you, look, here, Oh, I used to talk a lot of stuff on the court. What? Dude, I have to go tell your mom about this one. But the whole point is to throw them off of their game so I can win every time. Every time. Now he done lost confidence in himself. Now he don't even think he can guard me, where at the beginning he was kind of on me. That's why I started messing with him anyway. Right, now he becomes a disbeliever in what he said he believed in. You understand what I'm saying? So me coming in as a hypocrite to him, because I don't believe in what he's talking about no way. He on the opposite team. I don't know your game plan. But what I do know is I can take you off of it. All right? That's part of it. That's part of it. So that's what some examples that I can give you. What the minister said is you would act different if you knew the truth versus if you're acting upon this lie, right? And then you really don't, as the Holy Quran said, you really don't want to lie on each other or blame each other because it may just be out of ignorance and it may not be fully what a person believes in their hearts, you know? You can get bit by anybody, you know? So you got to be careful. You got to ask questions. You got to stay on your prayer rug. Keep your continence up, which is your spirit. Keep it flowing and emanating, you know? Don't let nobody break you down like that. All right. Y'all with me? Okay. All right. Woe to the play actors. Whoa. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says this, and we're going to end on this one. Ooh, yeah, we're making good time. This is the time that you cannot get away with being a secret play actor or disbeliever. Or disbeliever. I said disbeliever. Disbeliever. A play actor will most surely be shown up. The manifestation of everything, either good or bad, is going on now. This is what the prophets prophesied would come to pass in this day and time in which we are now living. So this isn't the time, as my sister was telling me this morning, for you to be trying to leave the mosque. It's really, as the messenger say, it's showing us who's the hypocrites and disbelievers by not coming, checking in, even asking about it, being some type of concern, because this is the time. This is the time, right? This is the time where your best should be shown. We're in the championship game right now. Fourth quarter. 2 minutes left on the clock. And everybody's scattering like roaches because the light is on. The light ain't going out. Farrakhan ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
That's what you don't understand. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So we can't be in secret, man. We gotta work on our stuff. We gotta work on our disbelief of ourselves so we can check into the game. Right? He goes on to say, I want to say to my believing followers, be careful of the play actors who remain under the disguise of a believer. He or she who is play acting is our worst enemy. Right? So how do you beware of them though? You don't entertain their evil suggestions. The Quran tells you how they're going to come at you. Just evil suggestions and firm resolution. You don't entertain it, especially when you don't have the facts of what's going on. They could be talking bad about anybody because Negroes love to gossip. All right? No, for real. We love to gossip and we love to slander. Hell, if we was really on the restricted law, it won't be none of us up in here. The mosque will be empty. We all be looking at Chicago right now. Those who know what I'm talking about, right? Because if they're not here, they on TV. So how do you beware of them? This is how you beware of them. You guard your ears, right? They're our worst enemies. Why? Because they're trying to turn us from helping the messenger. That is the enemy's goal, is to keep us from helping Minister Farrakhan. To keep us from wanting to help Minister Farrakhan, right? To keep us from wanting to even help ourselves. Because in helping him, it helps ourselves, right? Keep us from wanting to help this part of ourselves, which is Dallas, right? We have a mission here in Dallas, right? If he came to raise the flag here in Dallas, then why wouldn't you be interested in the flag in Dallas? Why are you so interested in the flag somewhere else? Because if that's the case, he never would have wanted to raise the flag here. Could have just made you travel to where I'm at. If it was but that ain't how this thing works. So when you look at the history of any organization, they don't start getting into problems until they start spreading their organization, and now they got different leadership everywhere. That's when the problems start happening in any organization, all right? In any of them. So you got to keep a tight noose on those leaders, right? Because they're going to want to do things their way because they want the recognition. You understand? And so it's easy to talk about it, but it's hard to manage it. You understand what I'm saying? It's very difficult to manage those type of situations when you got global corporations going on and you got a head at each post. It's hard to manage that. Because they'll walk away from you and they know you ain't got the spotlight on them when they ain't around you. Because they be play acting. They be play acting. He goes on to say, no wonder God said that he does not guide them to any path but the path of hell. Now, if you notice these play actors, they always stressed out. They always can't do something right. There's always something, right? They are in hell because Allah is with the successful ones. You know what makes you success? You ask questions about stuff you don't know nothing about. So you can do better at it. Allah is with the successful ones. The one who is prideful, that thinks they know everything and they're always in a hellish condition, he's not leading them to the right path. It's that simple. It's really that simple. So that's how you beware of them, because they show you who they are. It's you and I who are not paying attention to the subtleties of their actions. All right? And if we don't, then we fall victim to being their friend. And who the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says is our worst enemy. Right? Now, you got to discern a little bit in that too. Because again, a play actor could come about off of ignorance and not really know. They can have a sincere heart about helping themselves, but they're acting out on what they really don't know. We're all different. All right? So you got to discern with that if you're trying to help a play actor. You understand? Grow deeper into this. Because it's all about what's in your heart. We read that in the Quran, right? He put heart in there for a reason. Because it's in their heart. Some people are doing it out of ignorance. Some people are just doing it on purpose just because. All right? You may think they're an agent. They're not even getting paid to do it. That's just them. You know, you see what I'm saying? So you even got to be careful with that word. Because some people ain't even sitting here to do that. They just ignorant. And this is them. All right? So he says, a play actor is a double crosser. I hate them as much as God does. I hope that Allah will give the play actor the fire of hell. Woe to the cheaters. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Not just use synonyms so y'all follow me. You know, because hypocrite is such a strong word among us, and I don't want to, not only ruffle feathers, cause engrams is the term that people, somebody may have called them that, got mad at them one time and said, you are hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel that they righteous. Because it's all internal. We don't have the right to judge anybody, but we can react to their actions. We can make our own internal assessments of what we are looking at and what we are dealing with, right? And it's our job is to, as the brother said, resurrect them out of their wrong. Again, what means and methods shall be used to remove the poison and the rust from the said worst ones? What means and methods? You see how quiet it get? Because we don't have a class on that. We don't have a class on that. How do you remove the rust from the worst ones? Anybody? How do you do it? Look, don't nobody know. Consistent love. What else? Great. Awesome. So, in the grand scheme of things, your environment shapes your behavior. Give a sister a round of applause. Right? In the grand scheme of things, your environment will shape your behavior. Right? No matter what class it's in. Right? So, the people that's around, if they're thinking negatively, then you're going to start thinking negatively. Right? If they are positive thinkers, then you're going to speak positively. Right? It's a very small percentage of us in this room right now that's ever been with a successful group of people ever in their lifetime. So you don't know in reality what it takes to be successful in anything, because you've never been in that environment to shape that type of behavior. So if you go outside of that environment, you know the pieces that you need to be successful. This is just trial and error. You understand? And then you have those, as the sister was saying, that, they come to study group, they get to do this, they do that. But you have those who have learning disabilities that you don't know who they are as adults. It's reality, right? I just seen an article the other day and they were talking about how the math and reading scores are down in America. And they try to equate it to COVID, but hell, they was already down before COVID. It just got worse. You know what I'm saying? You okay, sis? It just got worse, right? All right. But I'm trying to figure out, how did it get worse if they online and they read it? You still got words. You still got auditory for those who are special ed. What are they reading? What are they doing? The Dallas Morning News is written on a 7th grade level. That newspaper is. So, and that was, I got down here in 2001, that was then. So what is it saying about our school system? You know what I'm saying? From Frisco to South Dallas. You see what I'm saying? There's an imbalance. Right? There's definitely an imbalance. And one of us can't have the solution. There has to be a group thing going on. So, woe to the cheaters who cheat themselves, right? And neglect others from being righteous. That was my own scripture. Don't think I'm gonna try to find that. That's me putting it together, right? But again, we want to go out. I'm gonna go back over some of this thing. To summarize what we talked about today is the hypocrisy of self we got to get a hold of. All right. The cheating of self we got to get a hold of. All right. The doing good to others we got to get a hold on. The positive thinking we got to get a hold on. These are the things that got to be in the frontal of our mind, because none of us are perfect. All right. And even God doesn't even judge us on that. He said it's going to be your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. You're good. You're good. But he didn't say you wasn't going to have bad deeds. All right. Now, how do you get over these bad deeds, and how bad are these bad deeds is on you. Only you know that. I'm not a prophet, scientist like that, or I can read your minds. I don't know. Only you know that. All right. But you have to get a hold on them so you can be successful in this journey that we call life. All right. And that we can have a positive impact on those that come around us on this journey that we call life. Right. That's what it's all about. You got to be able to explain what you say you believe in. All right. No, seriously. Because we interact with people all the time. And if they ask you a question, they be like, man, I heard this, so explain this to me. And you can't explain it, then they're going to be like, do you believe it? You see what I'm saying? Then you just lost a fish, as we say. Because now the bait then got ate up in the water. And now the fish then went on back to his thing, and you still left there on the hook. Ain't that what happens with fishing, right? Right? When you cast the worm, now I ain't been fishing in a long time, but you cast the worm, right? And when you feel that tug, you yank it so you can get it hooked on his mouth. And you reel him in. Is that right? For my fishers, right? So when we go out and fish the people and they fall into the bait, if you can't get that yank, because they ask you a good question that you can't answer, right? Then you can't reel them in, right? So when I look at the stats and I see, oh man, they ain't had a guess in 50 years. That's why. Can't fish. We need to get back to our fishing lessons and get your fishing license. Yeah, you got. Yeah. You gotta get your license before you can go fishing now. You're gonna get fined if they catch you at the pond. Is that right? So, I pray that we learned something today. I didn't want to keep us too long. All praise due to Allah. But I want to start. I'm just put the word out there. I'm gonna start starting early. So if you used to coming late, you're gonna be coming at the end. And you ain't gonna get counted once I start coming down. You know that, right? For those who are keeping up with their attendance. You won't get counted. Because we want to end this thing at 11 o'clock. So then if we still got time, you can go catch Chicago, if that's what you like to do. But it's recorded anyway. So you can look at it anytime you want to, right? So I just don't get it. They must don't like me, sis. They must don't like me. My breath must stink or something. I don't know. But it's all good, because I like me. And that's the most important, right? You got to have some confidence in yourself. It's not arrogance. But if you're not confident in your own self, then who's going to be confident in you? Right? You got to be confident in what you do. Right? And in your own self, or you will be a nervous wreck, man. You ever seen these people who are unconfident? Who everything that they do is a negative. You be like, dude, all you got to do is try. You think all I got to do is tell them, bro, you good at this. Just try to do it. And they still think negative about themselves. And you be like, man, that's very hard to deal with. I didn't go to school for that. So, I can't deal with these psyches like this all the time. I'm just being honest. Because we got them in our families, we got them in our friendships, we got them in our children. You got them like just dealing with people. You're dealing with people who are walking around with low self-esteem, right? And they don't know how to deal with it. No one has ever told them anything good in their entire life. And we have to save these people. So what means and methods are you going to use on the most poisonous and rusty? This is not, man, it's so multifaceted. It just ain't, you just not a believer. Dude, it's not that simple. But you just a hypocrite. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. When we dealing with this, it's not that simple at all. You got to say the right things at the right time, treat them the right way. It's a lot of things, and you may not even be feeling it that day. So it's a lot that plays into it when we're talking about going after our people. Right? But what we can control, positive thinking. What we can control, being nice to others. Right. What we can control is calling your lieutenant back when he calls you. What we can control, right? Anything negative around you, ignore it. You can control that, right? Because the more positive you have, the better off you will be. So thank you for listening. I pray that I said something today that was beneficial to us. And I'll leave you as I came before you in the green words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. All praises is due to Allah, the Lord of the world. Now, how many of you here for your first time? Please raise your hand. All praise be to Allah. Thank y'all for joining us today. Allahu Akbar. Now, if you believe what you heard is true and good for our people, please raise your hand. Good. All praises be to Allah. Now, if you are ready to enroll in the classroom and learn more about the Nation of Islam, and enroll in your class and learn about how the brothers and the sisters operate and how we think and why we think the way we think, I ask that you come down so I can shake your hand on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as his representative here in the city. Do you have anyone who's ready today? Anyone today? All praises.